From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, Labour Party appoints Akin Osuntokun to replace Doyin Okupe as DG Presidential Campaign Counsel. Road accident on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway kills 10, injures 6. President Buhari orders strong action against killers of Omobolale Rahim, pledges justice. And on the foreign scene, 10 dead, several missing after bus hits landmine in Burkina Faso. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Hour. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. We begin with politics, where the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council has announced the appointment of Akin Osuntokun as the new Director General of the Obi Deti campaign. Osuntokun's appointment follows the resignation of Doyin Okupe as Director General after his conviction for money laundering charges by an Abuja Federal High Court. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
Announcing the appointment at a strategic meeting with Labour Party candidates, PCC members and other stakeholders in Abuja on Tuesday, the national chairman of the party, Julius Abure, said the appointment became necessary after the resignation of Okupe. Akin Osuntokun is former managing director of the News Agency of Nigeria. He also served as political advisor to former President Olusegun Obasanjo. He was appointed director of the presidential campaign of the People's Democratic Party in 2011. Osuntokun writes columns for A National Daily. Party leaders said that even though the party will miss the wealth of experience of Dr. Okupe, they have no option than to accept his resignation in good faith.
Because we appreciate the fact that we must employ federal character as is enshrined in the Constitution and all of that. And so having put all of this into consideration and having consulted widely, we have come to the inevitable conclusion to replace the DG with Akin Osuntokun.
Abure stated that Osuntokun, who before his appointment was the zonal coordinator of the PCC in the Southwest, has the capacity and experience to drive the Obi Deti campaign to success.
Our campaign strategy has not changed. It remains the same thing, trying to say a new Nigeria is possible. We can build a new Nigeria. We can build a new Nigeria where Nigerians are happy, where Nigerians have a means of livelihood, and live in their nation, hopefully, that things will get better, because hope is what drives every process.
Okupe's resignation followed a judgment by the Federal High Court in Abuja, which found him guilty of receiving 240 million cash from former National Security Advisor NSA Samba Dasuki. Okupe, however, paid 13 million naira fine same day he was convicted to escape languishing in jail. He afterward resigned from the campaign council. Justice Ijeoma Ojukwu, in her ruling on Monday, held that the action of Okupe, who is the first defendant in the suit filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), violated the Money Laundering Act. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And to Ebonyi State now, where the state governor, David Umahi, has ordered the immediate suspension of his special assistant on technical affairs, Collins Eze, from office for acts of gross misconduct. This is contained in a statement issued to newsmen on Tuesday in Abakaliki by the Secretary to the State Government and Coordinating Commissioner, Kenneth Igwe. According to the statement, the suspension is indefinite. The statement said Eze is directed to hand over all government property in his possession to the Secretary to the State Government and Coordinating Commissioner before the close of work on Wednesday, 28th December 2022. President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the police authorities to take the strongest possible action against the culprits already held in detention over the killing of Omobolale Rahim, a member of the Nigerian Bar Association, shot by on-duty policemen on Christmas Day. The president, who condemned what he called the heinous and senseless killing on Monday night, said he was deeply shocked and saddened to learn of the brutal carnage. President Buhari, in a statement issued on Tuesday by his media aide, Malam Garba Shehu, said this incident was a stark reminder of the recurring menace of the mishandling of weapons and a wake-up call to law enforcement agencies, including the police, to ensure the full implementation of reforms instituted by the administration on the subject of weapons handling, as well as the protection of the rights of citizens. Meanwhile, Police Service Commission on Tuesday condemned the killing of Omobolale Rahim, a lawyer allegedly killed by a police officer and Assistant Superintendent of Police in Aja area of Lagos on Christmas Day. This is contained in a statement issued on Tuesday by Ikechukwu Ani, Head Press and Public Relations Unit of the Commission. The Commission said it received with shock the news of unprovoked killing of a harmless Nigerian and a lawyer. An ASP attached to Aja Police Station and 2 other officers were arrested by the Lagos Police Command over the killing. The Commission directed that the police leadership should hasten investigation into the matter and forward the report to it for consideration and further disciplinary action. It also called on the police to put in place a formidable program for further training of its men in weapon handling, and the case of unprovoked shooting and killing of innocent Nigerians has become worrisome. The Lagos State Government on Monday shot the kiddies section of Wonderland Lagos after a fun seeker was electrocuted at the event venue. The Director General of the Lagos State Safety Commission, Lanre Mojola, said in a statement that the intervention became imperative to prevent further exposure of attendees, particularly kids, at the venue to accidents that can lead to injuries and fatalities. Mojola further disclosed that the event venue owner, Ezekiel Adamu, had refused to implement safety measures prescribed by the Commission. The refusal, the Commission said, was despite several meetings at the onset of the project, following an initial safety inspection exercise carried out at the venue to deliberate on safety infractions observed within the facility. He further sounded a warning to facilities in Lagos that are not in compliance with the state safety guidelines on events and urged residents to socialize responsibly. Meanwhile, an accident involving a commercial bus on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway on Tuesday has claimed 10 lives and injured 6 others. The Federal Road Safety Corps Sector Commander in Oyo State, Joshua Adekanye, confirmed this in an interview with the News Agency of Nigeria on Tuesday in Ibadan. Adekanye said the lone accident that happened Tuesday morning around Guru Mahaji area involved a commercial bus and truck carrying a container. He said the commercial bus, which was traveling overnight from Malumfashi in Katsina State, suddenly came across the truck carrying a container that was driving against traffic. Adekanye said that the bus, in order to avoid the truck, hit the container and fell into a ditch, resulting in the death of 10 persons and 6 others injured while the truck drove away. He said the total number of people involved in the accident were 18, comprising of 17 male adults and a male child. The sector commander said that the injured persons had been taken to Ibadan Central Hospital for medical attention, while the dead persons were taken to Adeoyo Hospital morgue. He said that the police division at the toll gate area of Ibadan had taken charge of the crashed vehicle, and the sector commander called on motorists to always shun night travels and driving against traffic. The Shehu of Borno, Abubakar Ibn Umar Garbai Al-Amin El-Kanemi, has raised concerns over the proliferation of small and light arms through international sources in the Middle East. The monarch, who handed the warning while receiving the Coordinator, National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons, S.A. Mohammed, said the menace, if not tackled, will retard the relative peace enjoyed recently in the zone. He explained that the Northeast shares international borders with 3 countries that have experienced armed conflicts in recent years, which has contributed to the smuggling of small arms and light weapons into the zone. Shehu said the consequences of the weapons were prolonging conflicts in Nigeria, with negative impacts on peace efforts and socio-economic development. He said the Northeast Zonal Center should not be deterred in the task ahead and assured of support. Now, the menace of out-of-school children and its attendant risk can be addressed through the establishment of Al-Majri Commission, whose responsibility is to see that children are enrolled in school, irrespective of the financial status of their parents. Kaduna-based politician and security analyst Muhammad Ali made the submission in an interview in his office. He said children should learn the Quran under the supervision of their parents, and the tradition of travel to far places must be discouraged.
The issue is not having a commission, but an outright ban on begging, because Al-Majri has been bastardized and has been taken over by syndicate managers who are today using it to exploit young children, both males and females. In fact, some of the activities that amounts to child trafficking. So what we need is not a commission, but an outright ban on the activities of the so-called Al-Majri, because most of them are not actually out there learning the Quran. Because if students of Quran who go from their parents' houses to the school and back can do that and in 3 years memorize the Holy Quran, there is no reason why parents should be taking their children to distant places under the cover of learning the Quran. But what essentially they are out there doing is looking for money. And it is through this system that some of them fall into bad hands and become criminals. So what we need is a total ban on the migration of...
Now, residents of Kaduna say despite the introduction and formal launch of the new Naira notes, the redesigned denominations remain out of reach for many Nigerians. Now, while few have cited the new notes, many are yet to see them, let alone transact with them. They are therefore calling for improved circulation of the notes. Bella Musa reports.
The redesigned new Naira notes were made available to deposit money banks across the country by the Central Bank of Nigeria, but Nigerians hardly see them in circulation.
Nothing is not in circulation, forget. It's not. Yeah, so far, I think the other day I went to withdraw from my bank. I don't think I'm at liberty to mention the name of the bank, but I was told that they told me there at the counter that they don't have the new currency. So
never see, I don't even go back severally to even request for the new currency. Day. No. I think the problem we are having now, even the old currency, when you go to the bank, the limit they will give you is like 20,000 and they will tell you that there is no money.
However, to some, the scarcity is associated with the cashless policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria.
There are no scarcity that's one. It's something that just coming into the system. I know by the time we enter January, the CBN is going to make it available, because she made the explanation yesterday to the House of Rep member that this is the amount they are going to print so far, and it's going to be in circulation. We should give them time. It's going to be in circulation.
The money is scarce. Well, probably the CBN is just trying to see how they can introduce the money into circulation. But when you look at it, the reason why the CBN actually redesigned the Naira was actually because there are excess money in circulation. And so if the CBN haven't said that there are excess money in circulation, we now go about to release excess of this new redesigned currency, then it means that the policy is actually it's going to be it's counterproductive.
According to CBN, the all Naira note will cease to be legal tender on the 31st January 2023, but non-availability of the new Naira note is pushing residents to call for extension of the deadline.
To extend the time, not even maybe April or June next year. I think the money, the currency, the new currency would have been in circulation very much by then. We're still appealing to government to still extend the time.
Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, had on October 26 announced policy to redesign 200 500 and 1,000 naira notes. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Katsina residents decry high cost of living as the year 2022 ends in a couple of days. Most of residents in the ancient city chose to remain indoors during the festive period. And a cross-section of people in the city say this holiday came at a time when residents are coping with both weather and economic predicaments. Abdullah Yamadi completes the story.
The soaring prices of foodstuff and other necessities make life difficult for most residents, especially low-income earners. Though Katsina State government is not indebted to its civil servants in terms of the payment of salaries, rising cost of living is taking toll on many workers. Though I collected my salary up to December, but I can tell you without any contradiction that my salary cannot settle my monthly bills. With this, I don't need to tell you how I'm coping to live.
Na samu wani bawan Allah wanda yake ya fito har waje yana kuka aka tambaye shi kuma yace kwanansa hudu ba dora abinci a gidan shi.
The current Harmattan season makes the situation even more difficult as people had to struggle to make ends meet. Most of the civil servants are living from hand to mouth, with many in financial difficulty struggling to repay bank loans with high interest rates. This holiday came along with many things, God forbid. As essential worker, I feel like not staying at home, but I was compelled to do so. Please don't bother me with your questions. Why are you asking me this question? Is there anyone that is not aware of these difficulties? We are living in deficit in all aspects: economic, health, education, almost everything. However, residents are praying for God's intervention in the coming year and give Nigerian leaders wisdom to salvage the situation. Abdullahi Ismail Ahmadi, Trust Television.
Stay with us on Trust TV News Hour. Still ahead, we'll tell you why Abuja relaxation spots are centers of attraction. Details of this and more after the break. Just stay with us.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Hour. Now let's recap our top stories. Labour Party appoints Akin Oshuntokun to replace Doyin Okukpe as DG Presidential Campaign Council. And road accident on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway kills 10, injures 6. And moving on to other news now, chaotic traffic gridlocks in Abuja have disappeared as many residents traveled out to spend Christmas and the festive period elsewhere. Kabir Lawal reports that commercial drivers are lamenting low patronage. The report.
Vehicular traffic and gridlock are common sights in Abuja on a typical working day, with civil servants and other employees rushing to their offices. However, during festive period, free flow of traffic is noticeable. Commercial motorists in FCT say they are recording low patronage even as the festive period celebration continues.
You know, the more people are in town, the more the business will move well. So many people have traveled and we just have few people in the town. So the business is not so much. As you can see, since morning I've been staying here for over 2 hours now. I have not gone to a trip. So the business really comes down.
Some Abuja residents also said the Christmas celebration has made everywhere to be scanty.
But sometimes the price will be high, sometimes the price will be lower.
It's moving smoothly, only due to the financial scarcity in the country generally. So many people want to travel, but because of money and because of the transport fare that got increased.
People who have traveled to see their loved ones said they prefer to travel where they are unlikely to be struck in traffic.
Thank God, everything is reducing by day, so we thank God.
We have been recording low patronage since the beginning of the celebration, and this has actually made our park to be scanty because people have already traveled. The few ones here have never complained. Either they said they like the security consciousness going on at the garage. Commercial drivers also said high cost of fuel is a source of worry for them, asking government to look into the issue. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Well, thank you, Kabir, for that report from in and around Abuja. Now, the festive period holidays create opportunities for families to spend time together. And relaxation sports and amusement parks are centers of attraction during Christmas and New Year celebrations. Noel Sampson visits Abuja Millennium Park, where families unwind with their loved ones. His report.
For some families, Christmas celebration is a period that helps to keep families connected in a special way. Relaxation spots like this park is a natural choice to spend quality time away from work.
It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon. I just want to be here to relax with my family and also with my aged mother. To give God all the glory. We thank God to a blessed day like this. And also a gathering.
I'm here with my kids. Today is one of the public holidays declared by federal government. So this is a Christmas period when we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. So in all things, we should give praise to him. So we are here, particularly myself, I'm here because of my kids. They wanted to come outside to relax, so I brought them to this place. Certainly, we have stayed for a few days at home, so it will be worthwhile going back to work.
Everybody has what they are doing, so at least this festive period is the only time that at least we can, out of our whole business and everything. So this festive period is the only time we can spend time with each other and catch up.
I'm here to just have a fun, instead of staying at home, at least to relax here, to view and be with people again. I'm happy because I'm alive, so it's enough to be glorified unto God.
Visitors say the little rest here revitalizes and strengthens them.
We'll have enough holidays now, starting from, that was on 25th to today. At least I have enough rest.
For God to make it to be a successful and for it to be done in peace, and for the managers of our economy, possibly the new leader that will emerge, should rescue us from the present situation and make it better for everyone in 2023.
Evenings are especially nice to enjoy the beautiful lights at the park, but most family members come in daytime following directives to parks and relaxation spots in Abuja to close by 7 p.m. in view of the prevailing security situation. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Indeed, the holidays are all about rest and relaxation. Now, as part of efforts to make passport issuance seamless in Oyo State, the Nigeria Immigration Service is set to open another passport office in Oyo Town in January 2023. Now, this was made known by the NIS controller in the state, Controller Isa Dan-Suleiman, during the end-of-year party for officers. During the party that was also in honor of retiring officers of the command, the NIS controller said the year 2022 had been impressive and rewarding. He said the issuance of passports has greatly improved in the state, especially with the inauguration of e-enhanced passport in Ibadan Center, adding that the command had achieved a lot in anti-human trafficking. According to him, about 5,600 passports were issued and 79 illegal migrants repatriated by the command between October to December 2022.
Passport issuance has greatly improved with the commissioning of this symbols we are seeing, the e-enhanced passport. So December 2001, it has been tremendous. We have issued, as at yesterday, just the month of that review, we have issued about 5,600 just within 2 months past. And lots is going on. Every day we keep this passport. More things are coming up, more improvement on how to do this passport are coming. Just last 2 weeks, we have there's a desk now for diaspora coming in, just to avoid any pain. They just come seamlessly approach. We have officers standing by waiting for them, so that whatever we do now is seamless, particularly in passport issuance. Lately, we have a lot of I will call it much migration. People are migrating more out of the country. We pray it's that of regular. Because once it's regular, it becomes a problem. And so far, passport issuance we are doing well. And on anti-human trafficking, so much has been done. A lot has been done.
And now to matters of security, where bandits have killed no fewer than 4 farmers and abducted over 100 others, including women and children, from 14 communities in Mashegu and Rafi local government areas of Niger State in the last 3 weeks. Reports say more than half of the victims were kidnapped while harvesting crops in their farms. Those killed were a traditional ruler, 2 vigilantes and 1 other person during an invasion of Mashegu local government. Sources said the attack on communities in Mashegu forced residents to flee to Ibbi town and other safer places in the local government. In Rafi and parts of Shiroro local governments, 61 farmers were reportedly kidnapped in Gidigori, Pandogari and Durimi communities in the last 2 weeks. Residents said while bandits had also imposed a 3 million naira tax on each of the communities as a condition to stop kidnapping them and to allow them to harvest their farm produce, only 1 of the communities had been able to pay. Meanwhile, some gunmen have killed a young man identified simply as Ifeanyi and dumped his body on the roadside. The victim, an indigene of Agu community in Orumba North local government area of Anambra State, was said to be abducted at Okuno in Oka South local government 2 days to Christmas by some suspected kidnappers. According to a source, the body of the abducted man was found on Christmas Day on the road in Oka. The Commissioner of Police in Cross River State, Balarabe Sule, has confirmed that as many as 20 persons were injured and several others feared killed after a vehicle reportedly lost control and rammed into a crowd of spectators at the Bikers Parade in the ongoing Calabar Carnival. In a telephone chat after the incident, Sule said the number of those killed was yet to be confirmed, adding that over 20 persons were injured following the incident. The commissioner said he personally helped to evacuate a number of the injured and some corpses to about 3 clinics in Calabar. But eyewitnesses' account has it that more than 10 persons were killed when a vehicle lost control and swerved into a crowd of spectators at the carnival. The incident happened at about 4 p.m. on Mary Slessor Road, one of the carnival routes. The Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service disclosed that this year's Christmas witnessed the highest ever fire emergencies it had recorded, with 24 fire outbreaks. This is just as it revealed that 10 fire incidents, among which was a residential building at 54 Aledelola Street, Ikosi-Ketu, occurred on Boxing Day. Describing the surge in fire incidents as a concern, the director of the agency, Adeshaya Margaret, said 24 fire emergencies were received on Christmas Day. This is the highest ever recorded in a given 24 hours. You're still watching Trust TV News Hour. More news after the break. Stay with us.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
That's great.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Hour. Right now, we'll join Nten Ekbang for business news.
Recent data by the National Bureau of Statistics have shown that between the years 2021 to 2022, the cost of air tickets rose by 97%. According to the NBS, the average cost of airfares in Nigeria increased from 37,000 in November 2021 to 73,000 in November 2022, showing an increase of 97%. The NBS's Transport Fare Watch report for November 2022 also showed that the average fare paid by air passengers for specified routes single journey increased by 0.09% on a month-on-month basis from 73,000 in October 2022 to 73,267 in November 2022. At least 6,047 bank verification numbers of bank customers have been placed under the Central Bank of Nigeria's watch list for fraudulent transactions. This was contained in the CBN Financial Stability June 2022 report published in December 2022. The report also noted that 11,871 BVNs have been watch-listed as deceased persons this year. The report disclosed that the Apex Bank conducted an assessment of 28 banks and the Nigerian interbank settlement systems to ascertain compliance with the regulatory framework for BVN operations and watch list for the Nigerian banking industry in the review period. It noted that the assessment revealed some infractions and regulatory actions were taken. The World Bank has asked the Central Bank of Nigeria to reconsider its RT200 program despite its good intentions. According to the Global Bank, this policy has created an additional foreign exchange window, further worsening the nation's foreign exchange problems. It explained that with the rising parallel to official rate premium, agents are incentivized to settle transactions outside the I&E window at the parallel rate after benefiting from the RT200 rebate. It disclosed this in its Nigeria Development Update for December 2022, Nigeria's Choice. It said, along with its FX demand management policies and restraining FX supply, the CBN seeks to boost FX supply to the economy through other sources, which is adding to distortions. The International Monetary Fund, the IMF, has warned Nigeria and other oil-producing countries in sub-Saharan Africa to expect dwindling oil revenues in the coming years as the world transitions from fossil fuels to cleaner energy. In a new report titled Savings from Oil Revenues Could Help Africa's Producers Manage Price Swings, the fund said oil exporters in sub-Saharan Africa should target buffers of around 5 to 10% of gross domestic product to manage large swings in oil prices. It means Nigeria will need to maintain annual fiscal surpluses of at least 1% per annum over a 10-year period. IMF's latest regional economic outlook showed that oil prices have fluctuated from lows of $23 per barrel to a peak of $120 per barrel in the last 2 years.
Thank you, Nten, for that business update. Now it's time for us to take a look at the foreign scene, where 10 passengers have been reported after their bus struck a mine in eastern Burkina Faso. The regional governor said on Monday the minibus hit a mine on the road near the village of Bogui on Sunday afternoon, and the explosion killed 10 passengers, Colonel Herbert Yamogo said in a statement. He added that 5 people were injured and taken to a hospital in Fadangurma, the region's main town, while the toll could rise as other passengers are believed to be missing. According to a security source, the incident comes after an explosive device killed 2 soldiers on a road in northern Burkina Faso on Saturday. The West African country has since 2015 been grappling with an insurgency led by jihadists affiliated with Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group, which has killed tens of thousands and displaced around 2 million people. And the death toll from a fuel tanker explosion in South African city east of Johannesburg has risen to 18. A truck carrying liquefied petroleum gas got stuck under a bridge in Bergsburg, causing a leak and explosion that initially killed 10 people and unleashed widespread damage. 9 of the 18 victims worked at the nearby Tambo Memorial Hospital, including a driver and 8 nurses, after the explosion blew out its windows and collapsed its roof. The local health department added that a total of 37 people on the hospital site, including 24 patients and 13 staff members, sustained severe burns and were taken to other hospitals. The explosion caused extensive damage to private and public infrastructure within an estimated 500 meters from the scene. And Ethiopian Airlines has announced flight resumption to Tigray's capital, Mekelle. The announcement comes a day after an Ethiopian delegation made the first high-level government visit to the rebel-held region since the signing of a peace deal last month. The airline, the biggest carrier in Africa, said on Tuesday that it will operate daily flights from the national capital, Addis Ababa, to the Tigrayan capital of Mekelle. It said in a statement that the schedule will increase in frequency depending on demand. Aid has started trickling back into Tigray since the peace deal was signed on November 2nd, going some way to alleviating the chronic shortages of food, fuel, cash and drugs. But the region of 6 million is still largely without electricity and phone lines, while internet and banking services have only partly been restored. Still watching Trust TV News Hour. News continues shortly after the break. Just stay with us.
documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Hour. Right now, we'll join Mardia Umar for sports news.
And in sports, Olympic Lyon has joined the race to sign Super Eagles forward Tyrone Murphy, who's wanted by numerous clubs across Europe. The 23-year-old has proven to be a consistent goal-scoring asset for Lorient, weighing in 10 goals already, more than Lacazette on 9. Only PSG's Kylian Mbappe on 12 and Neymar on 11 have hit the net more times than Murphy in the French top flight. Adding the 3 goals he scored for the Super Eagles during 2022 to his numbers makes Murphy one of the most prolific frontmen this year. Dean Smith has been sacked as Norwich City head coach after a run of just 3 wins in 13 championship matches. Assistant manager Craig Shakespeare and the first-team coach Liam Bramley have also left Carrow Road. Dean Smith guided Villa to promotion from the championship in 2019 and the reached the Carabao final the following year. The former defender was sacked following 5 successive Premier League defeats at the start of the 2021-2022 season, only to take the Norwich job 8 days later. And finally, in rugby, Shona Brown ended her rugby career as a high as Harlequins claimed a dominant 48-14 win over Bristol Bears. Earlier this month, Brown announced she would retire from rugby at the end of December. The England international received a standing ovation as she left the field at 75 minutes and was lifted into the shoulders of teammates after the game. And that was Sport News. I am Mardia Umar.
Thank you, Mardia, for that sports update. Now, before we go, let's take a look at how a rose plantation industry boosts the income of over 2,000 people in the county of Xiaojing in China's Sichuan province. Let's take a look.
A village party chief in southwest China's Sichuan province has helped develop the rose plantation industry in the county of Xiaojing, which boosts the income of nearly 20,000 people. Chen Wanghui, who leads the Maoshui village administered by the county, is also a delegate to the upcoming 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China.
我们刚开始种植玫瑰呢，是从2011年说起。那个时候呢，我是茂水村的村长。这个老百姓呢，经常反映，这个业主破坏他们的庄稼。那天呢，我们就到这个庄稼地头去看哈呢，就把土豆儿这些种完了。当时呢，发现那个地边有一株玫瑰，当时我就看到那个玫瑰花开得很好，我说要是玫瑰花能变钱就可以了。他们说为啥呢？我说因为这个我们就玫瑰花能变钱，我们就改变我们的种植方式，种玫瑰花。我说你看玫瑰花全身都是籽，没得粮食味道，业主不供它。
Led by Chen, the local people gave up low-value added crops such as potatoes and beans and began to grow roses.
在11年的时候，我就考察7、8个省，把这什么品种、种植环境、种植效益，整个考察完的时候呢，我在12年呢集中进苗，进了这个8个省的苗，得集中做10年。经过10年当中呢，选有的品种。
Xiaojin County boasts abundant sunlight and significant temperature differences between day and night, which are good for rose planting.
现在这个玫瑰出来了就，还特别对我们老年人还可以哦，老年人都适合做这种，活路也不多，也不费力。
我们现在种玫瑰呢，这个收入，反正就是我呢，反正就是4亩地呢，基本上最少都是4万，咋子就是甚至就是4万、5万、6万多，就达到这一点。我们一家3口人，随便这样子，基本上都吃喝都够了。
Today, under the leadership of the local government, the total area of rose planting and production has reached 15,000 mu, covering 13 townships and 46 villages.
And with the rose plantations of Xiaojing, we wrap up Trust TV News Hour for tonight. Don't forget, you can subscribe to watch us live on YouTube and, of course, follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for joining us.